Hi, I'm Battle with Oh Hello Blogs, and this is going to be the first of many videos that I do. A lot of the videos I'm going to do are going to be a lot of projects that I do around my house, maybe maybe places that I go. We'll see. I love to do so many different things, but the number one thing I like to do is garden. Today, my topic is going to be on growing potatoes. It's something that I'm doing this year, and it's going to be something new and exciting. I already have my setup made, and I'll show you what I did to make it.
Before we get started, just know that if you have dogs or any other animals that might get into your potatoes, keep in mind that potatoes are a part of the nightshade family, and they can be poisonous if they're ingested when they're not cooked. The actual leaves of the potatoes are poisonous, so make sure you have a way to keep your pets safe. So when I actually started getting the idea of growing potatoes, I did a lot of research online. I watched a lot of different videos, and I actually went to a few different nurseries to just ask some other gardeners some tips and tricks on actually growing potatoes. One of the first things I went out and did was go out and buy a bag of seed potatoes. If you have some old potatoes actually laying around your house, you could do the same thing to you. If they've been sitting in your cupboard or pantry for a while, they start to develop these little things called eyes, and those are what you're going to actually plant into the ground. It's a pretty simple process, but what I did to prepare the actual potatoes to go into the ground was this. You're going to want to have, like I said, these eyes, and you're going to want to get a sharp knife, which I have here. What you want to do is you want to cut around the actual eyes that you have. You'll make a few cuts depending on how many eyes that you have. And they say once you actually make your cuts, you want to let them rest for about, or heal for about a week or so. And once they heal, they'll start to look like this. These are freshly cut, and these are healed. And once they're healed, you're good to go to put them in the ground. However, they also say the reason why you want to let them rest or cure is so they don't mold. But I did speak with a master gardener over at a nursery that's down the road, and he told me that it's not necessarily something you have to do, and they'll still produce. Now that I have my seeds, my potato seeds or cuttings, I went ahead and used Daddy Pete's Kickin' Chicken, which pretty much Daddy Pete's Kickin' Chicken, it is not a complete soil. It is actually compost chicken manure and composted cow manure. I used that and mixed it in with some topsoil that I had, and a little bit more compost from my compost bin, and I started to actually make my container for my potatoes. This is my completed potato planter that I made. Essentially what I used was some mesh wiring, and I layered that compost soil mix and hay, and made a tower out of it. So essentially what I did, starting from the bottom, I made one layer of a basket using the hay. On top of the basket, I then put my soil mixture that I had, then added some of my potato cuttings, and then put some more soil on top of them just to cover them, and then followed by hay, and I did that all the way up. I added about 6 to 8 cuttings per row that I did, which is pretty nice, and it should yield probably about 50 pounds worth of potatoes once they're good to go. This is actually what it looks like, just showing you how I did it. So, like I said, I had just my row of hay, then I added some of my compost mix, and then I added my seed potato, which you'll see here. And you'll see the little eyes growing, and you want to have the eyes facing upward. That's something I didn't mention earlier. But these eyes, you want to make sure that they're facing upward so that they can grow. And then I covered that with some more soil, just like that, and then covered it with the hay just to protect it and add some insulation, because where I'm at, it's warm, but it gets cold. We have such changes in temperature, it's ridiculous. And then once it's actually completely done, you want to make sure that everything is saturated. So I went ahead and just got my water hose and then just started from the top and let water run all the way down, making sure that everything is soaked and saturated. Luckily, I live in a place where it rains a lot, or it's been raining a lot rather, and these were able to get watered. After about a few days, you're going to notice your little sprouts that come out. This has been about 2.5 weeks, and they grow ridiculously fast, and you'll just start seeing them poke out all over the place, which is pretty easy to do. There's a little one that's trying to poke out now. They make their way out, so you don't really have to do much to actually get them to start poking out. Just make sure that they're watered. Again, this is my first time growing potatoes, so this is a trial run for me, and I'll give you updates as they're growing. But you want to make sure that you keep in mind, again, your pets are going to be protected. I don't want my dogs out here without me checking on them often and making sure that they don't go over to my potatoes. And also, a good way to tell when they're ready is all the foliage that will grow out, and it's going to grow a lot. It's going to be vining, and it's going to be all over the place. So you want to make sure that you're able to contain it. But once that foliage dies out, that means your potatoes are ready to harvest, and hopefully I'll have a harvesting video here in the next few months. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have an awesome day.
One last thing I forgot to mention, I always forget to mention it. Make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. If you do have any questions, please feel free to reach out, and I'll try to answer them if I can. Also, if you have any suggestions for any type of video you'd like to see, especially when it comes to plants, please let me know, and I'll try to see what I can do.